This is a really special session we got now for the Future Print Virtual Summit. I'm joined by four gentlemen, half and half really, Ricoh, who have and continue to push the boundaries with industrial inkjet development, have partnered with two German businesses who have a really strong position within their individual markets. Himan and Olbrich, flooring, wallpapers, wall coverings, and what's exciting about this session is they are quite advanced with these projects and also willing to talk about them. So I'd like to introduce Dave Gray from Ricoh, Richard Darling from Ricoh, Jens Kreber from Olbrich, and Carsten Brinkmeyer from Himan. So welcome, gentlemen. We're going to have a session here that we're going to talk about, I guess, the challenges of inkjet in new marketplaces, but also the opportunities. And the summit provides us with that platform to do that. So what I'm going to do first is introduce Dave, because I know Dave for a few years now. Dave Gray has been working with Olbrich on this exciting new project. So Dave, this has been has this been a labour of love for you? Is this this particular innovation? I think the last business trip I actually had was with you earlier this year at Heim Textile and at Domatech. So I actually saw some of it. It's very exciting stuff, isn't it?
It is. It's another one of those projects that's managing the transition from analog to digital. It's taking a technology and, where appropriate, applying it to existing analog products, but producing them in a digital way, in a way that does everything that the existing product does, but adds something new because of digital. That can be price, it can be performance, it can indeed, as we've got on these two projects, changing the product and adding something that you physically can't do with analog printing. So we were fortunate within Ricoh to develop a new type of printing process using an ink technology, and the application lends itself to printing on vinyl or in vinyl while it's still wet. The product that lends itself, or everybody thinks immediately of vinyl, is wall covering. Mm-hmm. And the predominant name in the wall covering market in terms of the equipment for producing it is Olbrich. So it was a natural partnership to seek each other. Olbrich I won't take away Jens's presentation, but Olbrich have for some time been looking at how digital can be the next step in wallpaper, wall covering printing. And so we worked together, each of us using our own expertise. So it really was a joint collaboration. Ricoh had its digital printing expertise and understood the ink and the print heads. Olbrich very clearly understood web transport, but also all the other aspects of it, of the coating process, of the embossing process, and also understood the market. They knew the customers who would likely employ this technology, and they understood the final product. So it's been a really great joint project to develop a product that is, in terms of look, touch, taste, feel, is wall covering. You can't actually tell the difference from the analog product, other than you're doing things that you can't do with analog printing. So in terms of the product description, we can print designs that are longer in terms of a repeat than you could ever hope to print with analog. We can print much shorter batch runs than would be economic with analog. We can switch between the different technologies, the different designs very, very quickly without any waste or downtime. So it ticks all of the boxes that you associate with digital technology, but actually produces a product that doesn't appear, in terms of its technical performance, to be any different from its analog counterpart.
And with that in mind, because wall coverings have been possible in the past with digital, haven't they? But what people term as mural wall coverings. That's a different thing, isn't it? That's a different kind of proposition, really. It's not to be confused.
Mural is a large picture on a wall. and people have, in essence, used existing digital platforms to produce it. All they've done is change the product. So these are products that were designed for printing posters, point of sale. They were never designed for printing wall covering. So they don't have the same performance characteristics as analog wall covering. So in terms of rub resistance, scrub resistance, color fastness, fire resistance, all of these things, there are very well established specifications and criteria for the product. But moreover, the machines themselves were never designed to print two products that you would ever put side by side. So there are
Limitations.
failings in transport systems that mean it physically doesn't fit one drop of a design next to the other. Color-wise, in terms of color consistency across the web, wall covering is a product that's more critical than people realize. The product has to be hung side by side, and for the next 10 years you stare at it, hopefully never seeing the join. So color across the web is absolutely critical.
So
and color fidelity.
Okay, so I want to introduce Jens. So Jens Ulbrich, and obviously Dave has a lot of knowledge and experience for many years in print and digital printers particularly. Ulbrich is a business that's been around for many years that's produced analog machinery for wallpaper production. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely, Markus. Thank you for having us and me today here. Ulbrich has actually started in his, let's say, or in its DNA with wallpaper machinery some 70 years before. And we have always been engaged with the processing of PVC, coating, printing, laminating, drying, gelling, winding of flexible products. So that's what we do. And we have many machines out in the market, especially combined. We call it combined printing line. That's a combination of different printing technologies out of the analog world. Screen, photogravure, and flexographic, for instance. And as Dave already mentioned, Ulbrich started some years before already to look also into the opportunities that digital are providing. And we have looked into different directions. And we came across a new technology together with Ricoh, which we call the wet on wet, as Dave mentioned. And it results in a technology and in a product that actually is a wallpaper as most people know it today. It feels like it has the same haptics, the same surface effects are possible. And it's completely different than those wall murals that you mentioned, Markus, who are also available today. There is a market. This market is also well developed, but this is covered by multipass printers. And our approach is different. We are looking at the industrial mass production and to integrate digital opportunities in the single pass production process.
And with Ulbrich as a business in mind, you obviously have a culture around being able to create machinery that suits mass production and aligns with the kind of accepted qualities and so on. I know you showed some of the technology at Heim Textile, and what kind of response did you get? What are designers looking for? How well received has this been by the market?
Well, that's a good question. I would say there have been two aspects to that. One is the design variety that is provided by going digital. And this is exciting to the industry itself because it provides all new decorations, completely different designs, artwork. That was a big attraction in that marketplace. The second part to that answer I see is our product, the machine itself, the ink, the total package. And that is also making very good headway. And we are proving that the system is accepted in the industrial application. And the result from our product is the customer's product, which is also well introduced and received in the marketplace today.
Yeah, and from what from my experience visiting and so on, what I observed was that some of the designs just pulled a massive amount of interest, but digital wasn't used as a word to promote those designs, but it was just the captivating element of the designs that pulled the interest. And that to me was said quite a lot about how the market's moved on and how important design is to the whole process, really.
Yeah, absolutely right. That's a good point. And that is, I think, a very smart approach that our customer has chosen. He is selling, I would say, a fashion product. It's design driven. It has to perform as a wall covering product, of course, as it is defined, specified. But he is not stressing the aspect how it's made. And I personally think this is a very, very good approach, because which final customer is asking when he's buying this product in a dealership how it's made? I think the first question is always about the design. Do I like it? Yes or no? And which value do I get for my money? Do I believe that the price is right? And I think that is what we see in the markets where our customers do business. And the final customer, I think, is not really so much interested how it's made, whether it's made analog or digital. And this is, we saw very helpful, because it's about the product itself and not so much about the production technology. This is very exciting to us as industry players. For us, it's daily business. We get very excited when we can talk about digital printing and those opportunities, but that's also applicable to our direct customers. There's a lot going on in that industry, but if I, as a consumer, go to an home improvement store this evening after my work and look at a wallpaper or at a flooring or other decorative products, I think that the first question is not how it is made. The first question is, do we like it to decorate our house?
Exactly. Do you have any sort of maybe some images or anything that you may want to share, or a couple of slides just to kind of illustrate what kind of both the machinery or the application? I don't know if Dave, you wanted to have a...
I can if you stop sharing your screen.
Yeah.
So let's take something like that one. So that was a design, that the image there showing actually the design is running through there, and typically we're running these anything up to the same speeds that analog lines run at. So we're not talking about a slow printing process here. So up to 70 meters a minute, and able to change the design on the fly, which is something that an analog line cannot do. Also, we're talking about a pattern repeat here. The upper one you can see is a conventional repeat design, but the lower one, which is just ahead of it on the web, there the repeat pattern is over a very, very long length, so just not possible on an analog press. And then if we look at some of the other applications for it, because it's moved beyond wall covering now and into looking at vinyl flooring as well, and luxury vinyl tile, the ability to even change the design on the fly on that. So printing short runs of vinyl, because the surface is a vinyl, means that you can change the design from, in this case, from one wood grain to another. There's no limit to what you can do.
So you can go from stone to wood to different whatever. And
absolutely. Yeah. I mean, looking up the web line there, you can see three different designs in view at the same time.
Yeah, that's just not possible otherwise, is it?
No.
Yeah. So it's liberated design, and I guess the other thing is it means that you don't have to stockpile a load of singular designs and then have the pressure of it not selling if the pattern isn't liked or whatever. And I guess that weighs down on designers, doesn't it?
Yeah. It ticks all the boxes of reduced inventory, of just-in-time print, of reduced wastage, of no make-ready time, reduced wastage during make-ready. All of the great drivers of digital. This is a product that benefits from all of them.
Brilliant. Thanks, gentlemen. That's awesome. I'm going to introduce now Richard, darling. And Richard, I know, equally at Ricoh, but equally has been involved in the development of Inkjet with him in the past, with Jupiter, but now with a different planetary innovation, the Saturn. So some of the drivers for change and some of the, I guess, unique attributes of digital are completely applicable with Saturn, but Saturn's a single pass system, isn't it? And it's focused on wood decor or paper printing within wood decor. Is that correct, Richard?
Yes, it is. Yeah, it's printing on webs of paper, roll to roll, reel to reel, however you want to call it, and it's not designed to run fast. It's designed to run so that every square meter's usable in the downstream processes. It's similar in that you can just change design on the fly pretty well, and you can have what are termed rainbow rolls with many designs on a reel. And then you can take them through the post-processing, which is impregnation and pressing. Carsten will describe more about that. But this is to print on webs that are up to 2.2 meters wide, and with water-based inks, pigmented inks, with the pigments that are suitable for the decor industry, wood decor industry, quite closely defined.
Okay, and the partnership with Human and Ricoh, that's obviously a you get the attributes and the quality of Ricoh and the inkjet technology, but equally Human have an equal presence in a different way in terms of the industry there, and they understand the marketplace probably better than Ricoh do in some respects. Is that right?
They certainly understand the marketplace better than we do, because I think they've been in the business for about 500 years. And they yeah, so stop splitting hairs there, but it's a soak into the industry, that producing other equipment for that industry, and it's a very much it's a process of separate steps or different steps. So Human know all about that, and it's quite a close bunch of people. That's what I found as a digital outsider coming in, and I've been on the periphery of the industry for to carry on the same exaggeration, about 50 years. No, it's probably more than 10 years, with Jupiter first of all, with the UV printing, and it's not something that you can easily get into the industry from the outside. There are certain requirements that are quite subtle. So Human know that much better than anybody who's a digital printing specialist can know. We have our own knowledge in Ricoh, our own things to apply to it, taken from our single pass document world and many of the other inkjet projects too. But Human also have experience in single pass inkjet printing for the decor business. The water-based element is the difference here, and also positioning the equipment to deliver digital advantage, and I think that's the main thing.
Okay, so that's interesting. So Carsten, your experience with Human, explain a bit about Human and what Saturn is doing for the market. And I know you've got some slides you can sort of show what the kind of the model for traditional production is and what digital can perhaps offer. Are you able to take away the screen share? Yeah. And then, brilliant.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Marcus. Yes, Human is looking for digital printing now since 12 years, I think. And we have quite a lot of machines in the market doing digital printing. But the core, one major part of the industry is that the customers are printing, or they're using printed paper and using in the melamine press for creating melamine surface boards, like laminate flooring, like HPL, or like normal wooden board. Oh, sorry, I think it's the wrong screen. Or is it the right screen? You see that?
No, that looks right.
Okay, it's fine. So the typical product composition for laminate flooring is it's shown here, which is you have a melamine resin overlay and printed paper and a wooden core board or some other layers of papers, and this is typically printed in some locations all around the world. This is an example of Europe. The places are not really what representative, but the green spots show the printing location, the red spots show the production sites. And this is I think this is different to many other markets where the printing is already done at the production areas and the production facilities. This is more that the red production sites buy in printed paper, and they are banded. They have to buy minimum quantities, and this is everything related to delivery time, minimum quantities, and so on. And this is blocking the flexibility of digital printing. And this paper then goes all around the world, and moving from one company to the from one place to the other by lorries and trains. And this is, as I said, this is blocking the flexibility what the customer needs, and so everyone is looking for individual products. Everyone wants to have something special. 20 years ago, we had maybe in the do-it-yourself market, we have had 5 designs: an oak, a birch, a light oak, maybe some maple, but that's it, and maybe a cherry. And now we have 100 different designs, and everyone wants to have his individual part in flooring in that area. So the digital printing could offer this flexibility, and in ceramics market, for example, it has shown that it's adding a large variety of new designs into that. But in that case, ceramics is one good example there. The production sites were already printers before. They produced in analog procedures their designs, and there this shift to digital was maybe a bit easier. All the benefits of digital printing are well known, I think. Stock reduction, new designs, and also what Jens and Dave said, long repeats, no repeat in that, new possibilities in all of that. But in the Decor market for Decor paper, there are 3 choices how you can get digital into your production. This is buying external printed paper. Then you are still in the way of you have the problem with delay time and delivering and accepting designs. You can operate a multipass printer. Then you end up with whatever 50, 100 square meters an hour, maybe. Or you can operate a single pass printer. There are already some in the market, but then you need to check if that really is economically, you can operate that economically, and does it really meet your requirements. And that is, this slide is now showing what it is, what is the world looking at the moment. So as I said, you can buy a multipass printer with a lower and best, but also a very, very low quality capacity per year. Or you can buy a very high speed digital printing, or Richard's word is what was the word, Richard? Digital printing analog machine?
Digital with analogic.
Digital with analogic. So many printing machines are running, so the existing machines in the market are running with 150 meters, 2 meter width, then they have easily a capacity of 90 million square meters a year. none of the operation sites we've seen on the slide before, the red dots, need 90 million square meters a year. What they need typically is something in the range of 5 to 17 million square meters, and that's exactly the point where we try to place, to find a solution for. And we build the Saturn line together with Ricoh in cooperation. There, and we focused on that capacity. So it's a single pass printing line with a large width up to 2.30 meters, and it's not focusing on the highest speed we can achieve. And the printer has not to work in this full high speed frequencies, and this all makes life of the printed and of the process much easier, so that a production company can become a printing company. And here I showed an example of a process change which results of that. So you're not buying in paper with a minimum quantity and waiting for the receiving, going into the stock, and then going into production. And maybe because you only need a partial part of the minimum of that what you ordered, the rest comes into stock again, and then it goes into the press. In the digital world, your process chain is much shorter. You're much more flexible, and you only have a stock of white paper, or maybe a beige and a gray, but non-printed paper, and it's easier to manage the whole stock. So you're reducing time and cost, and time is cost at the end. And one thing we learned, I think, in the last weeks and months, also delivery time and waiting for material produced on other sites. You reduce everything in that part, have not that much lorries on the street and waiting for permission to come in, and that is making the complete process change easier.
One of the very good, very interesting. One of the things that I think has come through in the very good paper that you and Richard have written recently as well around decorative inkjet, comparing rotogravure with inkjet. One of the key things is that you're recognizing that in the future you see a manufacturing system that's more decentralized. And I think all of the survey results we've just done in our inkjet survey says that, you know, one of the permanent changes, or one of the things that may accelerate in the future, is reshoring, production closer to markets, more localized production. This really seems to fit that model quite neatly.
Yeah. I think the decentralization, I wanted to try to show that with a European map, and moving from central printing to decentralized printing as close as possible to the end of your production chain, with the flexibility you can get. We learned that from existing customers where we have already for our Jupiter machines, printing direct to board, that they reduce their delivery times from 4 weeks to maybe 1 week, something in that area.
So it's a huge advantage. Well, listen, thanks. That's fantastic. I mean, in terms of just summarising, I think there's some really exciting opportunities there for production. I'm kind of and slightly different markets, but equally very exciting, and offering, I guess, as well as anything else, clear economic advantages for taking inkjet. I know that's one thing in the paper proves, isn't it, that there are the economic advantages of inkjet, and in specific with regards to Saturn and with the work with Olbrich are really clear. So I wanted to thank you all for joining us here for the Future Print Virtual Summit, and I look forward to seeing how these innovations develop into the future. So thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Thank you.